is born and raised in France. He is currently residing in Washington, and his name is Corentin. I mispronounced his name several times, but this is the spelling of his name. Before we start today's interview, here's a little bit detail about his car. Here's a few facts about the car. He has a 2019 Model 3 with a base white coating that comes along with Hardware 3. This is the Performance Stealth Edition. He just bought the car recently around September of 2019. The car only has 1,600 miles. He got the full self-driving package with software 40.20.1 at the time of the interview. All questions asked were based on version 40.2.1. I just spoke with him this morning. He got the full self-driving preview update 40.50 and he seems very happy about it. Before we get started with this interview, if you're interested to come on as a guest on this channel, make sure to reach out to me. So let me just ask you the first question. Where have you heard about Tesla and what made you decide to buy a Tesla?
So I heard about Tesla about 4 years ago. It was just from a coworker who actually had one. There's not a lot of people actually in Chicago who have a Tesla, so it was pretty.
And it was pretty new 4 years ago too. It was pretty new, and you started to see.
It's true. But even more in Chicago, there's almost no Teslas there because of weather. It's not really good cars for there.
True.
But anyway, he talked to me about it, and then I just looked about it, but not really much. It's not like I was interested into it.
Right.
It's just I moved recently this summer to here actually. And I needed a car, and this is when I really started.
Washington? So you moved over to Washington, you needed a car, okay?
Yeah, because in Chicago, you don't need a car. I don't understand people having a car in Chicago. But anyway.
There's a lot of subway,
you need a car.
Go ahead.
So I was like, all right, I definitely want to buy one. And I was actually hesitating between a Prius and a Model 3.
Nice.
And then I talked to my coworkers, and they told me that, no, just take the Model 3. You're going to have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, both are great cars, Prius and Model 3. Prius is very good at, gas saving. Model 3 is a totally different beast. But before you actually proceeded, have you had a driving test before you actually ordered, or?
Yeah, so it was actually a bit weird. I was about to go out for a month in France, basically.
Right.
And so I actually started filling up about 2 weeks before. Yeah, 2 weeks before I was about to leave. I filled up, the form online to do a test drive.
Right.
And I actually didn't complete it. I was I should just think about that when I come back.
Yeah.
But anyway, on the same day, somebody from Tesla called me and she said, oh, I saw that you wanted to schedule a test drive. Right. And I said, yeah, but I'm not in a rush because I want it for a month from now. So
correct.
I don't really want to do it now. And she said, well, actually, if you do it now and if you decide to take your car now, it's going to be just before the end of the quarter. And you will get free charging for 2 years for free.
Right. Which quarter was that, if I may ask? Was that the?
Oh, it was just at the end of September.
Okay, so usually at the end of the quarter, that's when they rush and they try to sell a lot of inventories out. No, that's a good point. Keep going.
Yeah. So it was mid-September, and I was beginning of September, and I was leaving 2 weeks after. So basically, I really had to rush it at this point. So I think I had 10 days total to receive it, to take a loan and so on. So
did you order it before you actually tried the test drive? Because I know you said they called you back, but have you even had any chance to test drive it before you actually place an order?
Sorry, I completely missed that part.
Fine.
So basically I after our call I said, okay, fine, I can come tomorrow and do the test drive.
Right.
So I came the next day. I actually ordered right away, and she said, if you don't like it, you can just cancel your order, but at least you would secure it right now.
Right.
Because I was explaining to her the same thing I'm explaining to you, basically. So then I did the test drive. I was with my girlfriend, and so we both did the test drive at the same time, and it was a bit scary actually because we didn't have a car insurance at that time. And she told me, if you do anything wrong with the car, it's on you.
Okay.
So, but we were extra careful. We did take like, I don't know, like 20 minutes. We just basically went through the highway on one way,
Right.
take exit a bit further away, tried autopilot and so on.
Right.
There was actually a bit some time where the autopilot went a bit weird. Like basically it was particularly with the version 9 of the software. At some point she told me, okay, just put the blinker and you see the car will automatically move.
Yeah.
And I did. And at that time, a car came from the back, but not too fast, but still fast enough that the car came back on the lane, like in an abrupt way. And I was like, oh, what am I doing? And, you know, I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So, but ultimately, it was fine. And this has actually improved a lot since version 10.
Right.
But yeah.
Now, the test drive that you got, was that 4 years ago? Or was it just like 2 years ago?
No, it was this summer. Just like, just before I ordered it, basically.
Right. But I'm trying to figure out like how long ago was that, so I know like was there a
so it was
significant amount of
September.
improvement? September of last year?
No, 2019.
Just recently then. Very recent.
Yeah.
Wow, just like a couple months ago.
Yeah. I only had the car since like this September. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay. Which means you do have the hardware 3 then, right? It's 2019. That's beautiful. Okay, let me see. Now,
and there's one thing actually also is that I didn't know about the performance stealth. I don't know if you've heard about this model.
The performance, you said?
The performance stealth.
Okay, what is there?
So nobody knows about it because whenever you go online, you cannot order it.
Okay.
You need to actually go on store. It's basically the same thing as a performance. It's like it's the same thing as an all-wheel drive, long range, with the performance of a performance.
Wow.
But it doesn't have like the fancy pedal brake. It doesn't have the spoiler at the back. It doesn't have the different brakes.
Right.
It comes usually with like 19 inches. But basically, it's only $2,000 more than an all-wheel drive.
Okay. Wow. And you could only get that from the in-store?
Well, I guess that if you call or if you know, like if you can, you can look through inventory and find one. You can do that.
Okay.
But if you try to custom order one, at least in September, you couldn't order. You couldn't custom.
That's why I didn't know about it until you just explained it. That's awesome.
I didn't know about it until I went there, and I was, that's a good surprise.
Right. Now, when you did the test driving, or let's just say after you got your car, now, how did you felt about actually getting the car? Like when they were delivering it to you, what was that feeling like?
That felt amazing. I mean, it's my first car actually, and I've driven my parents' car when I was younger, and it was like a pretty old Toyota with no power at all.
Wow.
So it felt like wow, that's actually like really nice car. Like it feels really good. I mean,
it's amazing. I guess that's what
it sums up. Finally, I get one. Right. Finally, I can experience and go around. Finally, I can go skiing on the weekend.
Correct. Now, I was asking you that question because, like, for example, if you're driving any other car, pretty much gas car, right? It's just a car, right? There's nothing else to it. It just gets you from point A to point B. Whereas a Tesla is not just a car. There's just more to it, a little bit of delight. You could do so many little things that just makes you a little bit more happier. Yeah, that's why I was asking you that question. But
I was really excited about autopilot.
Oh, okay. That's the next question I wanted to ask you. How do you feel about it? What do you like about it? And